The churn that was never true churning. Once there was a little girl who had to churn every day and every day. This little girl was servant to a woman who made butter. The woman had a great deal to do to make a living, and she needed the butter the churn made every day to help her do it. It was an old-fashioned churn where you had to work the dasher or churn handle up and down, up and down, up and down, like this until by and by the butter was made. So this little girl would come to the churn every morning, ready and glad to do the churning. Her mistress would fill the churn, half full of cream, then she would put in the dasher, then she would put on the cover that had a hole in the middle for the dasher handle to go through. And then this little girl would go to churning, up and down, up and down, up and down like this. And the cream inside, with the dasher going up and down, up and down, up and down, would churn around and churn around and churn around until the cream would all be broken up and the butter would come. Well, one day this little girl had been churning up and down, up and down, up and down, until she thought it was almost time for the butter to come, and she was thinking, now pretty soon I shall be through with this churning, for the butter will come, and then I will go and rest my tired arms and sit down in my rocking chair and rest my tired legs and lean back and rest my tired back, and I will take my dolly and rock her to sleep. And then, as the little girl said this to herself, what should her mistress do but come and open the churn and put in another panful of cream? And she said, little girl, you will have to start your churning all over, for I have found some more cream that I want made into butter, and so you must keep on churning. The little girl was very tired, but she was a good little girl and wanted to help her mistress, so she set to work again with the dasher, turning up and down, up and down, up and down, while the cream went round and around and round, trying to make the butter. And after about another hour, the little girl said to herself, it must be almost done now. So she lifted the cover and took a peep inside, and sure enough there were little specks of butter on the inside of the cover and on the top of the cream. And the little girl said, now just a few more dashes, up and down, up and down, up and down, and then I shall be through with my churning, and then I will go and rest my tired arms, and sit down in my rocking chair, and rest my tired legs, and lean back, and rest my tired back, and rock and sing to my dolly. But as she said this, what do you think? Why, her mistress came around again, and she opened the churn, and the little girl thought she was going to gather the butter, but instead of that she took another pan of cream, and she dumped it into the churn, and she said, little girl, here is another pan of cream for you to churn. It looks so good, and it tastes so good that I can't help putting it into the churn to make more butter. And that poor little girl was so tired, standing up so long and pumping that dasher up and down, up and down, up and down to make the butter come, that she couldn't go on any longer, and she sat down and cried. My, I don't wonder at it a bit, do you? If you were that little girl, how would you like to churn and churn and churn, up and down, with a churn that could never quit churning because it had some more cream put into it every hour to make more butter? You wouldn't want to be servant to a mistress like that, would you? Your mother wouldn't treat you that way, would she? But this little girl, dear me. Would you like to know that little girl's name? Listen, and I'll tell you. That little girl's name is Stomach. Yes, sir, Stomach. And her mistress is any little girl or little boy who has a stomach. For you know, when you eat your breakfast, it goes down to your stomach, and there it is churned around and churned around and churned around, all the while it is digesting. It takes several hours to digest and go on, and then stomach can have a rest. And she needs a rest very much, for she can't keep on churning and churning and churning all the time. She needs some time to rest and to go and sit down in her rocking chair and sing to her dolly. But when any little girl or any little boy comes along after breakfast and dumps some more food down into the stomach, why, poor stomach has to start all over again and keep on churning and churning until the new food is digested. And then, if that little girl or little boy should be so bad as to come and dump more food in, why, I wouldn't blame poor little stomach if she sits down and cries, would you? And let me tell you, if she gets to feeling so bad that she cries, that little boy or that little girl will be sure to know it and cry, oh, oh, I have a stomach ache. So I think that we, who are mistress of the little servant Stomach, should give Stomach just enough churning to do at breakfast, and never a bit more until lunch, and then never a bit more until dinner, and never eat between meals. And then good little stomach will do her churning cheerfully and well every day, and everyone will be happy. That's what I think, don't you?